Hello everyone, welcome to day 16 of 28 Days of Love. I hope you had a great week. I can't believe it's Friday again already. The time is flying. I hope you're still enjoying everything, and hopefully you're still able to find some time in your day to incorporate these things and start to continue to shift and do the work and hopefully see some changes. So we're going to dive right into today's topic. I'm going to try to keep it short and just something that we can, again, start to add on to everything that we have done so far. So today I want to talk about nature and specifically the importance and the benefits of us connecting with nature. Some of us are really good at this and some of us not so much. And if you're like me, winter is a very difficult time for you to connect with nature. I really struggle with winter. I am just a summer, love the heat kind of person, so I really have to push myself and really pep talk myself into embracing winter and enjoying it. Anyway, nature is something that is so healing and can be so energizing and such a great way to help us transition and change and deal with things, right? If we really look at nature, it's changing all the time and evolving and growing and recycling. And if we can spend some time in nature, it allows us to really connect with the earth. It helps us to bring back that deep sense of being grounded, which sometimes we can easily lose that sense of being grounded when we're being pulled in so many different directions. So there's nothing, for me, there's nothing more so grounding and comforting of just bare feet on the ground. I love it. Obviously not so much in winter, but the more we can connect with nature, it just, again, is another way to even fill your cup. And so some of the things that I like to do, especially in this summer, is really get out into a quiet area outside of the city where I can go for a walk and really use all of my senses to connect with nature, right? Like actually taking the time to see and to notice everything around and to see the different trees and the flowers and whatever, and to smell everything and to hear the sounds of nature and even to just feel it, right? We've started to practice feeling into our bodies, but when we're really kind of aligned and really focusing on connecting with nature, it's amazing how we can see these synchronicities even just between ourselves and nature. And so spending some time in nature can be definitely a way to fill your cup, feeling the sun on your skin or the smells, the energy from the earth, just visualizing, bringing it up through your feet. There's so many different little ways that you can do that. And it can also be very healing. I know for me especially, I find the mountains is a place that just really, for me, is a place to kind of release and refill. And I'm fortunate that I live in an area where Jasper is, a 3-hour drive, 3.5 maybe. So I have the ability to really easily and fairly quickly get to the mountains. And I found nature super healing for me last fall when, like I said, I just had a lot of stuff going on last year, and I just was being this or having this need to go to the mountains to just really take some time, away from my work, my family, from the city, to be by myself and to kind of connect to nature and to be able to release and process some of the emotions that I was struggling to maybe let go of. And so there was a day in the fall where I just said to my husband, I said, I just need to go to Jasper for the day. I'll be back at the end of the day, but I just need to go and just really clear some stuff and fill my cup. And it was just such an incredible and powerful day. It was like nature was matching everything that I was going to, and it was quite late in the fall, and the weather was cold and rainy, and I got up early in the morning and I left probably at 5:30 in the morning, and I backed out of my driveway, and the tears started to flow. And it was all good, right? That's part of releasing and dealing with our stuff. And I thought, okay, let's go. And the drive was nice in that it gave me time to kind of think about what kind of things do I need to be focusing on here? What do I need to release? What's really bothering me? And throughout the drive, of course, there'd be little ebbs and flows with tears, and then just feeling a little bit more ready and peaceful. And the weather did not get better. It was kind of getting worse, and I just thought, well, this is symbolic of how I'm feeling right now, and it's good. This is all good. And I didn't really have a plan, but I kind of thought, well, I'm going to go to this particular location, and there's a hike, and I can go, and I'm going to find a place to sit, and I'm going to just journal and write out everything that's bothering me or that I need to release. And as I got closer and just started to go up the road to where I had intended to go, it was closed. And I thought, oh, really? I thought, my first thought was, okay, is this like symbolic of how my life is going right now? Like just one block after another after another. And I thought, okay, no, you know what? I'm just going to trust that there's a better or more special or more meaningful place that I'm intended to go. So I'm just going to let the universe guide me to where I can go. And so I decided to go a little bit further, and I decided to go to a place called Maligne Lake, which is just outside of Jasper. And I hadn't been up there in a very long time, up to the lake. Been to areas before. There was a fire there a few years ago, and so as I was driving up, just going through this part of the forest where it had been burned, and it was just so, I don't even know what word I would use to explain it, but just like this process of death and rebirth, right? And I thought, that I feel like that's where I'm at right now, that I'm coming here to just kind of let some things die so that I can, come back and, just come back in a new start. I don't know if that makes sense, but so that felt really symbolic. It was kind of eerie and beautiful all at the same time, and I kept driving, and I got to Maligne Lake, and it was snowing and it was cold, but I had packed all my warm gear and clothes, and I parked in the parking lot, and I grabbed my backpack, which had some water and a notepad and a pen, and I just started walking, and it was snowing and it was kind of cold and it was really gray, and again some tears are kind of flowing, and I'm just, at one point I thought, oh, what am I doing here? This is so nuts, right? But I thought, no, I came to do this, I'm going to do this. And I just walked the trail a bit, and I found a nice little place to sit on this huge rock, and I pulled up my notepad, and I just started journaling about everything that was making me sad or angry or frustrated or whatever. I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And the more I wrote, the snow stopped, and all of a sudden the clouds actually started to part. And I kept writing and writing and writing, and next thing you know, the sun's starting to come through. And by this point I was getting a little bit cold, so I thought I'm going to go back to my vehicle and just finish writing in there. But as I was doing this, and I'm feeling so much better as I'm writing, but the clouds are completely parting and the sun is coming out, and it's beautiful. And the lake is beautiful, and the scenery is beautiful, and it was just very fitting, because it felt, like a shift had happened, this transformation, this releasing. And so I finished all my writing in the vehicle, and I felt like, okay, I've kind of let some stuff go. And then I thought, okay, I need to now kind of fill my cup. So I started to drive back down and stopped at Moline Canyon, where there is just some beautiful waterfalls, and it's just a really beautiful place. And it took some time to just breathe it in and see it and feel it and smell it and all that stuff, and just bring the energy in from all of the elements. And I felt so much better, and then I was ready to go home. And in my heart, I knew that, there was still stuff in my life that I still needed to work through. But I felt like I kind of had this release. I filled my cup, and I'm ready now to keep going and push through all of this. And so I started to drive home, and even though it was cleared and the sun was shining, it was beautiful, there was still, in another direction, some very dark clouds, and it was a little bit snowy. And as I turned onto the highway to head back home, ahead, the clouds were gray, but there was this rainbow right over the highway. And, very rarely do you see the end of the rainbow, or I don't anyway. And I had to pull over to the side of the road because right in the field beside me was the end of the rainbow. And it just, again, was so symbolic that it felt like there was this huge shift or transformation. And even though there's stormy roads up ahead, I felt this strength, this renewal, that I could go into that storm and be able to get through it and come out ahead. So my connection to nature that day was so powerful. Like I said, just how I felt personally, and just to see how all of the elements and how nature was in sync with how I was feeling. It was just quite unbelievable. And I was able to snap a picture of this rainbow over the highway. And like I said, I've never seen anything like that before. So that was a good reminder for me of how powerful nature can be and how healing it can be for us. And the other thing is for us to remind ourselves to have that appreciation and respect for nature, right? It gives so much to us in so many different ways. And even just our gratitude and our appreciation for nature is that giving back. It is that whole cycle of giving and receiving, right? And so I think it's very important for us to, as much as possible, take time to connect with nature, to stop and smell the roses, right? That quote that's been around forever. Because we get too busy and we get too distracted, and we just really need to take that time, whether it's in our own backyards, or if it's escaping to the mountains for the day, or really taking a nature break, a vacation for a weekend, and just getting out there and just feeling it and embracing it, because it is all part of us too, right? Everything is so connected. And so your homework is to spend a bit of time in nature. And I know those of you that are in Edmonton with me, it's today's nice compared to some of the days, but I know tomorrow is going to be -26. And I know it's hard to say you really want me to go embrace nature when it's that cold. For me anyway, I know some people love it. So just take advantage, I guess, maybe of the nice winter days, and just stop outside for a moment and feel the sun on your skin, or the trees. The other day I went for a walk with Bailey when it was a little bit nicer, and I had just done a meditation, so I was feeling very, kind of aligned and connected. And what was so incredible was the smell of the trees, which I've never smelled like that in the winter. And I don't know, maybe it was just the right temperature or something, but in our area there are so many pine trees and spruce and cedar, and they were just, the smell was so strong, and it was so refreshing and invigorating. And that's what kind of made me think about our topic for today, was just how powerful that was. or if you're traveling anywhere in the next little bit, take some time on your vacation to connect with the earth, connect with the elements, and release stuff, right? There's lots of ways in meditation, for me especially, that I visualize, releasing things into the earth to be recycled into new energy, right? Whether you visualize things draining out through your feet, or, releasing stuff through tears and letting it all hit the ground. And it's all part of that whole cycle of life, right? That giving and receiving. So let the stuff go that you need to nature, and let nature fill you back up, and just keep that cycle and that flow happening. So that's your homework. Pretty simple. I'm going to put some resources into the email as well if I can. Keep doing all of the work. I've also got a reminder of everything we've kind of covered so far, because there has been a lot. And you might look at it and go, how am I going to do this all in one day? But the thing is, if we just start to practice all of these things on a regular basis, we'll just naturally start to do them without even thinking about it. And we're just developing those new habits again, and a new way to live life. So enjoy nature. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you again over the weekend. And I almost have our wrap-up date confirmed. I will hopefully share that with you tomorrow. And again, keep the emails coming. Keep doing the work. And thank you again so much for tuning in every day and being a part of this. I love sharing this with you, and I love to hear your experience with it all. Have a fabulous day. I will see you tomorrow.